Welcome everyone to another episode of Mastering Money Mondays, where each and every week we infuse a topic to help us all transition from one of being a debtor and or saver into that of being a wealth creator. My name is Lonzie Green, affectionately known as Mr. Flip Your 401k.
And I am Cynthia Pete, IT project manager by day, but also your financial freedom fighter.
That's what's happening. We are both employed entrepreneurs and investors, but that's not why we're here. Why are we here? We are here because Mastering Money Mondays is a podcast and a show where we are helping each other evolve, right, as wealth creators and learning how to master money. So here's our why. Our why is, number one, we've been taught how to make money, which is go get a job, go get an education, get a good paying job. Number two is we've been taught how to manage money. So now that we got a good paying job, let's put that money into a checking and or savings account or even a 401k account. But we have yet to be taught, number three, which is how to master money, which is taking the same dollar over and over and over again, multiplying it in order for us to become pregnant with possibilities in order to pursue our purpose. So that is our show's why. Cynthia and I have been learning from 7- and 8-figure earners. And so as we are acquiring knowledge and information, we want to pour it back into community to help us all on our financial journeys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Episode 35. Episode 35 is Unpacking UBI, what it means for you. UBI, now that doesn't mean uncomfortable bowel irritation. Okay, that's not what this means. Sir. This means universal basic income. All right, so we're going to talk about universal basic income and what it means to you. So let's start with the pain point. The pain point is as economic inequalities widen and technological advances threaten traditional jobs, many people feel financially insecure and uncertain about the future. So what UBI does is it proposes a radical shift in how societies support their citizens, but understanding its full impact and feasibility remains a challenge for many. So Cynthia, drop the money tip.
Okay, cool. So let me talk about UBI a little bit. Right. Okay, so UBI, as he said, stands for Universal Basic Income. What that means is everyone would get a check, regardless of your income, loosely. I'm sure if it was implemented, there would be some kind of income limit. But you would get, let's say, $1,000 every month. It didn't matter how much you earned. To help you stay stable financially. Remember, America is a consumer economy, okay? Number one economy in the world. Second is China. China is a producing economy, so they have to keep making products. And so for our economy, as we already can feel, the gap between the have and have-nots is getting wider and wider. Absolutely. And the middle class is absolutely getting squeezed. Right.
Lost and turned out. Shout out to the Whisper. Lost and turned out.
Not lost and turned out. But that's how it feels. So the thought behind universal basic income is that everyone would get this basic income of $1,000 to help you pay bills and to spend money. So that's what it is. Okay, so I know you're listening to me like I was listening to when I learned about it was, so they just gonna give everybody a check? Yeah, right. Let me tell you, they have piloted this UBI in, at least that I know of, in Florida, in Texas, and in California. And they piloted based on a lottery. It's specifically in Texas. They gave families $1,000 every month for 3 years, and then they went back to see how they spent it. So it is being piloted in the United States as well as other countries around the world. So when it comes to strategies for UBI, you have to stay informed of what's going on. If what Lonzie and I are talking to you right now on this topic, UBI, is completely foreign to you, doesn't sound right, go Google it. Just go Google it, and you will find it. I'm going to say this over and over again. The economy is not a mistake. So if they are piloting universal basic income, it's probably going to come at some point. Now, is it going to come in the next 5 years? Probably not. We're talking more like 5 to 10 years, right? Not next year, but you still need to stay informed about it.
Right. Very good, very good. So let me touch on some of the social and cultural implications of UBI, right? Because it could potentially reshape what are some societal norms around work and life balance. And so what do we mean by that? We mean that there can be some potential shifts in how society values work. Now, let me pause. I mean, because in my opinion, as a society, I don't even know if we value work anyway in the first place. So I'm trying to figure out. Okay, anyway,
I value my work.
I do as well.
But it's tied to my purpose. That's why.
That's what's happening.
Okay.
So I think what it means, what we mean by that is that, you know, if you're going to get, as Cynthia put it, a check for, you know, to help, you know, with your cost of living, does that mean that no longer feel like you need to work? And I think we also saw a little bit of this during COVID because of some of the stimulus check and some of the unemployment benefits that people were receiving.
Oh, because it was more than what they made. Right. It was as much as they made.
Right. It was as much. So maybe not the exact same thing, but what we found, what I saw was a lot of now hiring signs all over the place, and people were not taking any jobs because they was getting their money. Yeah. Whether it's the STEMI, whether it was the unemployment, whether it was the deferments, whether it was the PPP loan, whatever the case may be, people weren't working. So I think there is a potential implication of UBI having a similar impact, right? So it can impact various demographics, including low-income households, the middle class, and the differently abled. Right? So let's talk about funding UBI, because like if everybody's getting a check,
where the money coming from?
Where is the money coming from? So you want to tackle that?
Sure. Okay, so this is a critical aspect, because if everybody does get a check, where is it going to come from? And let me just say this: the check will not be enough for you to live on. So people
might try to make it enough.
Right. People might try to make it enough. Y'all, everybody living in that 5-bedroom house we talked about, which I don't have a problem with. Listen, live your best life. But it's probably going to lead to potentially increased taxes, because it has to go somewhere. Social Security is already shaking. So you know, redistribution of welfare budgets. You know, like UBI is not welfare. Like, people live off welfare. I don't believe UBI will people will be able to live off of it. So it's not like you'll be able to get UBI and welfare, right? They'll redistribute the money. Or the creation of state-owned enterprises. So let me just say this. Let me drop this nugget on you, because this is my opinion. Okay. This is not factual anyway. This is just me. Okay. 65% of the country is on some kind of government assistance. Baby boomers are retiring. All right. They're basically retired. They're getting older. So they're taking up Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, right? Medicare or Medicaid. And those are government-run programs that I just do not believe are sustainable, right? I don't believe are sustainable over time. For our age group, the retirement age has already gone from 65 to 67.
Right. And they're trying to push that.
So this is my theory. Okay. We have all this money in these pre-tax, in these in 401ks that had never been taxed.
Yep, tax deferred accounts.
Tax deferred accounts.
Right.
I believe that's where they're going to hit us. I believe by the time we retire, millennials retire, in these tax deferred accounts, the taxes are going to be higher.
Yeah.
And so, I'm telling you, I thought that 5 years ago before I got my financial coach, because I was like, I just don't see how. I believe the taxes will be higher when we retire than they are now.
Well, we know they've been saying it for a while. The tax rates are going to go up.
They have to go up. Yeah, they're going to have to go up. And so I met with a financial coach who believes the same thing and came up with a strategy. Because my question when I met with them was like, do I need to put any more money in my 401k? Because I just think I need to pay the taxes now and just put it in a Roth. And so they agreed somewhat, but you would still put the money because you need a tax break somewhere, because you're going to get hit with the income tax.
Right.
But their theory was like, you just cash it out a little bit. You don't cash it out, but you roll it into the Roth. And then you just pay taxes on it now. Because if you roll it into the Roth, there's no penalty. But you do have to pay the tax. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, because if you roll it into the Roth, which is after-tax money, it's going to have to be reclassified, and so that becomes a taxable event. But to your point, you're paying it now. You're taking the short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Yes.
So that's another reason why, and I won't go down this road. But that's another reason why I kind of know the inner workings of your 401k or 403b or TSP plan design, because there are different features within the plan, pre-tax, after-tax, even your distribution options. Sometimes you can get all of your money before you're 59 and a half and roll it over. Sometimes you have to wait. You're still actively employed. Sometimes you have to wait till you separate. So again, if anybody wants to kind of get a review of what that actually looks like, then feel free to DM me and we can come up with a whole strategy. But you're right. I mean, Cynthia, the money got to come from somewhere. The money got to come
from somewhere. I was like, this is not sustainable.
That's something to think about, though, because right now the mandatory, if you take the money out directly from, using your example, a tax deferred account, and that money is pre-tax, they're already taking 20% up front from the plan.
Yep.
Right, and then depending on your age, there goes the penalty of 10% early withdrawal penalty. But so I want y'all to, as y'all hear this, like, I don't know if y'all really truly understand what Cynthia is saying unless y'all write this out. Just use an example. Let's just say you have $100,000 in a tax deferred account and you decide to take the money out from the tax deferred account. Take 20% of that and whatever's remaining from that $100,000, that's what you get after you take the 20%. Yeah. So you need to see those real numbers and understand that right now it's at 20 and it may have the potential of going up. So you need to ask yourself, can I live on $80,000 as opposed to $100,000? It looks sweet now because it's in the account. It looks hefty.
Yes.
But once those taxes start coming out, it don't look as promising as it may look right now currently while it's housed in your account. So that's a great point.
Yeah.
Great thing to know too.
Yes. And so the point was, how are they going to fund UBI? Yep. We kind of went down a rabbit hole. But the point was, how are they going to fund this? And I think it's going to be taxes and redistribution of welfare if it comes back in.
Yeah, so I mean,
I just don't know how else they do it.
So anyway, we need to talk about that because, man, when you really start looking at the money and how it personally impacts you, you start, at least for me, separating the emotions out of politics.
Absolutely.
Because I don't, whether you're black or white, male or female, I don't give two shits of a fat rat, A-double-S about that. How's it going to affect my pocketbook? That's what I care about. But anyway, that's just me. But anyway, Cynthia, that was a great point to invoke in the conversation. Where is that money going to come from? Because it's going to come from somewhere, and there's a great probability that it's going to affect you.
Yeah.
It's going to affect you and your family, right? So you just got to think about that. And the reason why, how it ties back into mastering money, thinking about that and knowing that, again, dictates how you move your money around.
Yes.
That is a part of mastering money. Just the education, the literacy behind it all.
Yes.
So with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Cynthia, I'm going to turn it over to you to go close us on out.
Absolutely. So, guys, I know this is a new term for you, UBI, Universal Basic Income. I'm telling you, you will hear it more and more. It is already being piloted in the United States. It's already implemented in some countries. It's been piloted right here in Texas. Yes, right here. And you need to understand the implications of UBI. So you need to understand, if we go to universal basic income, that means it's going to be too expensive to survive on my own. So what do I do right now? I'm already feeling the squeeze. How do I make the adjustment knowing that my country is talking about a universal basic income? That means it's not going to be enough money for me to survive. It's going to be so expensive that the government is going to have to supplement my job if you have one. Yeah. That's the other thing.
And I like the point that you said as we close out. It's about, what's happening in this country, because what a lot of individuals are doing, especially we talked about the wealth gap earlier, but wealthy individuals, they are getting dual passports, right? You start seeing people.
Yes.
Like the people that have the money, they are part of conversations, or they maybe even calling the shots, that I guess they are in the know of what's happening. And so you can already see telltale signs based on some of the things that they are doing on what's coming down, right? And Cynthia put in previous episode, if you see something on the news, it's already too late. But people are already starting to move, purchase property in other countries because of some of these things that are transpiring, not just solely related to UBI, but just all of
in
it.
general,
right? So, man, just pick up on what some of these people are putting down.
Absolutely.
And start asking of yourself, hey, look, is this something that I really need to be looking into and considering for myself? Not saying that it needs to be, but it goes back to Cynthia's point. Preparation is what we're trying to convey here.
Yes.
So, appreciate you all for joining us for another episode of Mastering Money Mondays. Again, like, subscribe, tell your mama and them, and until next week, you all take care.
Take care, guys.